All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome back to the stream. Date is October 24th, 2019. This is GMA 32. Welcome back, welcome back. Welcome. Defcamp's cracking up already. We're off to a good start.
It started on the screen as soon as I was yawning, and as soon as I yawned, you started it up. I was like, "Fuck."
Awesome.
Nice, man.
Oh, and the nameplates are wrong. I see.
Oh god,
I'm
dude.
You're Defcamp.
Yikes. Gotta have the typical cargo scuffing to start the stream off. We're back to the beginning. There we go.
Oh man.
Okay, we fixed it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We here. It is getting chilly, man. It's getting closer to the winter time. We're in fall, dual wielding the Starbucks pumpkin spice for sure. You already know. Another day, another dollar.
Oh,
Def
yeah.
Camp, doing it day. Good to be here. Back with you guys as always. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good. I'm ready to go to Blizzcon. You know, I'm ready to experience the experience. You know, I've never been there before. I am honestly most psyched about meeting my friends that I've never met before. I've met Cargos before, but you know, it's going to be awesome to hang out with you again and hang out with everybody. So I'm really excited, man.
Me too, bro. Me too. Yeah, I did link up with Def Camp before. Ate a cheesesteak, had a stogie. It was a good time, but I can't wait to link up with the two brothers from the city of brotherly love once again.
That's right.
BlizzCon is, what is it, 7, 8 days? Man, it's gonna be crazy, dude. So,
like that. Yeah.
doing it, Dane. How you doing, dude? You're almost 60, right? You said?
Almost. Yeah. I'm. What is it? 57. Yeah. I think. Yes, 57.
57. All right.
Yeah. And I should be rate ready for this weekend. Well, I will be rate ready. I shouldn't be. I will be. Almost attuned to Nyx. Yeah. Finally, some would say. But I had a blast actually leveling up. Been fun. Been leveling together with the Boomkin quite a lot of the time, and that's really something cool to do. Yeah, someone in the guild is Boomkin Bob, and it's just a really nice guy. We do
Did you say
things together.
Boomkin Bob?
Boomkin Bob, yeah.
Boomkin Bob.
Yeah, good name, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I wish I could meet up with you guys, but we will do that sometime in the future when I have more money, more
Next
time.
year, dude. Next year. No excuses from anybody next year from the community, right? You got a whole year to plan around it, save up, do whatever you got to do. It's going to be great. Sarmatican, thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription. 7-month subscriber. Woo! Huge supporter of not only my channel, Def Camp's channel, pretty much everybody in the Classic WoW community, dude. Probably
is an amazing tank as well, who's going to get her Qual Rock tonight, hopefully. Yep.
You'll love to see that, dude. Congrats in advance, Army. Appreciate it. So that's going to be the topic of discussion today. Melderon is not here with us yet. He may dial in, and he's off doing...
We're going to see if we can get him to dial in,
doing bigger and better Melderon things, but he may just dial in and say hi at some point and scuff the cameras up, but it will be worth it because we'll get to hear from Melderon. So that's going to be the topic of discussion today. It's going to be all about BlizzCon. Will it be scuffed? Is it going to be a success? There's so much juicy stuff to talk about with regard to BlizzCon. I have some thoughts. I'm sure you guys have some thoughts. I'm sure the chat has many more thoughts. So it's going to be a good episode. I have some talking points written down here. And yeah.
You want to give a blessing? Good old blessing for...
I almost forgot. It almost slipped my mind, dude. Could you please buff the raid with Shadow Protection?
Here we go, baby. Let's get your let's do a little headphone warning, everyone. Let's do this.
I'm not even gonna take my headphones out. I'm just gonna take it now. I'm embracing the noise right now. Go for it. Hit me.
Let's go. Good morning, Azeroth. How the hell's everybody doing? 1 week out to BlizzCon, baby. Yes. I'm feeling it, baby. I'm feeling it.
I love it when you get so loud it peaks out and it just stops making any noise whatsoever. It's funny as hell.
Last few weeks you didn't peak out, but this time it was that loud again.
Yeah, that's good. We gotta. I feel like you got a close up of me on the picture. I feel like I'm like right in the fucking screen, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. We got We got a full dosage of Def Camp this week. You guys love to see it. He is up close and personal, dude. Def Camp.
That's not sinking Def Camp like it used to be.
I'll tell you, if you think Def Camp is like fun to hang out with on GMA, you gotta hang out with him in person, dude. This dude is a riot, man. I can't wait to link up with you guys again.
Cheers, brother.
So yeah, we're all, except for Dunaday, and we're all going to BlizzCon. My BlizzCon adventure's starting a little bit early. So next week, some of the people from our guild and community are flying out to SF. We'll be scooping them up, and they're gonna spend like a week at my crib before we head down there. We're gonna take a road trip down Highway 1 in a Sprinter van, and it's gonna be really scenic, really nice. Hopefully, spend some time with the community, and then go down to BlizzCon, and then rock out for a couple days there. So Grace for Days is flying out. Up here, Colby Cheese, Crit Chicken, some people from the guild that I've gotten to know over the past 6-7 months, and it's always you love to see it when you cross that line in the sand from knowing people online to knowing them in real life, right? And then that's ultimately the end goal at the end of the day, right? If you build friendships that transcend the game and into real life, like that's pretty much the best possible scenario, right? And World of Warcraft is a hell of a platform for getting to know people and making friends. It's a really strong common interest that brings people together. So, anyway,
I'm straight.
This is going to be an epic BlizzCon.
Explain the title, the reason why? Because last year was obviously a scuffed BlizzCon, right?
Correct.
So, this year, Blizzard's got a lot riding on this year's BlizzCon. So, the question is, will it supersede or whatever the fuck? I don't know. Will it meet everyone's expectations, or will it be another scuffed year? They got a lot riding, like what do you think? Let's our initial thoughts on BlizzCon.
Yeah. So just to paint the picture a little bit, and I don't really follow gaming news that well. So a lot of you in the chat may know this stuff better than me, but you hear rumblings and you do a little Google News search and you figure out what you can. Last year was kind of a disaster of a BlizzCon to some people's minds. I'm not going to say definitively, right? But the Diablo Immortal disaster was a huge yikes. A lot of the hardcore PC audience felt disrespected that they were going to take a traditionally, hardcore PC game, dark fantasy, high fantasy, bring it to mobile out of nowhere when everyone was wanting Diablo 4, right? And kind of offload it to another developer. So it didn't really feel like inspired content. There's a lot of things going on, right? But like a lot of Diablo fan base felt kind of disrespected there. That made waves throughout the gaming industry, and it was a rough BlizzCon overall. I think an underwhelming BlizzCon overall. I'm sure everyone who went had a good time. So that's a little color there. So will they do a really good job with this or not? And we have, based on the limited information we have access to, we have some potential predictions and some commentary based on stuff. But what I am most interested in seeing is I want to see what direction Blizzard goes from here, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to continue to proceed down this path and try to go for a more mobile audience, a more like kid-friendly mobile audience, and continue down that direction, right? And continue to cater to the mobile market, Chinese market, all these things. Or maybe is Classic WoW at all impactful in their decision making, and maybe they take some of the successful aspects of Classic and incorporate it into their game design going forward with World of Warcraft. A lot of these things I'd like to talk about today. I'm rambling.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Initial predictions and thoughts?
My initial look at everything so far was, looking at the schedule, being a Classic WoW fan, not seeing anything about Classic WoW. I kind of understand that okay, they're probably going to have a new expansion release for retail, but with the success of Classic, I would have liked to see some kind of panel or something going on to at least talk to the devs of Classic WoW and maybe just, get their feel of how they feel everything went, the future of Classic, the progression, things like this, just to get an overall census of like, hey guys, we're super happy with things, how they went. We're working on this, working on that, whatever, just to get some kind of overall idea of how everything was for Classic. There's nothing there. So, they didn't add it. Yeah, so that's my biggest gripe. So, the fact that it doesn't
wasn't it a little bit to be expected too. The problem with Classic is obviously there's not really something new about it, right? So, but I get what you're saying. I think one panel with like what are we actually planning in the future, maybe even about potential expansions or Classic Plus or whatever, or how we made Classic WoW. I don't know. Just one thing to please the fans would be nice, and that's indeed that's not there. That's
and this year
sad.
too being the 15th anniversary of
Mhm.
WoW, like you would have hoped they could have said like, okay, here's a look to the past, and to see like maybe a look to the past, and okay, here's all the different narrations of WoW and how it's transgressed throughout the years, maybe something like that. Honestly, though, like the fact that Classic was such a success, and the fact that there's not even like anything there for BlizzCon.
Well, let's think about what that could be, though. So I guess what Deathcamp is saying is we have the schedule up in front of us here. This is the 1st of November, the 2nd of November. Looks like this. There's a few things that are maybe could possibly relate to Classic. Voices of Azeroth, The Hero's Journey, World of Warcraft update. There's a 45-minute segment here, but nothing dedicated to Classic. And we're wondering, is that a potential issue? And one thing that I want to ask the chat right now and ask you guys, is Classic WoW, does it have more subs than BFA at the moment? These are things like, I'm not sure if I'm living in some bubble and I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid and it's a super strong blend of Kool-Aid and I think Classic WoW is the shit and it's just like this minuscule thing. Or it feels like there's more Classic subs than BFA subs.
So there's one way to measure this thing, which we all can do, and that's look at the number of Google searches on Classic WoW and compare it to the number of BFA searches. And what you will see is that Classic WoW has way more searches than BFA, even in the last few months still. So basically since the last BlizzCon, I think it's been higher. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe not since the last BlizzCon, but at least since basically since a few months before release. So if that's a measure, then it should have more subs.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, one thing. So let's think about one thing that they could have done or still could do. I mean, it's probably too late, but like, so if some people might be thinking in the chat, like, it's a static game. What could they possibly do as a little segment? And just right off the top, freestyle off the cuff. Do a little 45-minute panel explaining the phases to come and some of the decision making that they had behind the way they rolled things out. Talk about some of the challenges they face with rolling out Classic. Talk about the hype of the launch. Maybe do a little just community get together for people that are playing on different servers, and just have a little allocated area of the convention or whatever for people who are interested in Classic.
I think Cargos, the most. There's like a little community. You know how Hearthstone and like all these other games have these get-togethers. Like, I would have loved, and I know they're trying to keep the Warcraft community together, but they've got to see that the Classic WoW community and retail community are two different. It's like it just are in the most part. I mean, of course there are some people who play both, but I think that's what I would have liked to see the most. And the only other thing I can think of, right, is the fact that, and I don't know if this is true, this is just how I feel, right? But like, I do feel like okay, here you go, you guys had WoW Classic, now be quiet. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I feel. Like, it's like, here you go, you got what you wanted, and and you got to think in Blizzard's eyes, like, would it be good for them to acknowledge the fact that Classic is doing so much better than retail? Is that healthy for them to do that? It could be worse for retail if they did that. So I don't think they would acknowledge that, So I don't know. That's the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I do sort of feel that way as well. There's like, you have to read between the lines a little bit here. So if you guys notice, right, when you're signing in and you're about to put up the Battle.net launcher and you're about to play some Classic, all those little rotating, that little rotating carousel is all BFA stuff. You go to Wowhead, even if it's Wowhead Classic, you go to any of the community resources, oftentimes there's just this video is just being shilled right in your face to go play the BFA version. It seems like they're really still trying to push people towards the retail. Maybe that's where the money is. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
But
the cash shop is there, and that's a huge part. So they desperately are trying to push people still to that retail version. One of the things we should probably expect on BlizzCon, that's the second point already, is a new Warcraft expansion, Wolf Warcraft expansion.
Yeah.
And I guess they will try to hype that up as much as possible. And I suppose they hope Classic people will be tempted to play that too.
Yep.
And spend some money in the cash shop.
We are due for it. We are due for it. So there is an article on PC Gamer. I do want to just quickly skim over for you guys because it does probably a better job than us at summarizing the current state of BlizzCon and what to look for as we go into it next week. Here we go, just real quick. With BlizzCon less than 2 weeks away, Blizzard has revealed the full schedule of events that will take place over the big weekend event. Opening ceremonies will begin at 11 a.m. Pacific time to 2 p.m. Eastern time on November 1st, and then an hour after that, the esports competitions, including the Overwatch World Cup group stage, blah, 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 will go underway. So they're saying that there's a couple segments here on the schedule that are listed as coming soon. That's the first point. So people, and it's on the Mythic stage, which is the most high impact stage. Mm-hmm. So people are curious, what is this going to be? That's the first little point there. So there's some mystery slots. Another thing is they're saying whatever goes down, and my own prediction is that one of those slots will be dedicated to announcing a big push to make Battle.net a serious player in the digital storefront wars. We can be reasonably confident that after last year's Diablo Immortal mess, Blizzard is going all out to make a big impression on its core audience this year. Think about this message, core audience. What is Blizzard's core audience? Is it the hardcore PC gaming audience, or are they moving towards mobile? And you have to keep in mind, recently they're releasing COD Mobile, right? That's coming out, and that's like the biggest headline of Activision Blizzard, COD Mobile. So signs are pointing towards them continuing to push towards mobile. Just throwing it out there. So
I think that would be the wrong move, honestly. I think the best move, right? And like, here's the thing that I'm expecting, right? And I'm expecting to hear new Warcraft expansion, Diablo 4, something like that, right? Maybe Diablo 2 remastered. That would be fucking awesome. I'm really hoping to hear something along those lines and less along the lines of, because dude, BlizzCon, like 99% of the people there are there for, PC games, maybe less. Right? We have like a Hearthstone or whatever, which you can play on your phone.
That's a PC game, right?
Yeah, it's technically a PC game though, right? But so I really feel like BlizzCon is not the place to push those kind of that market. BlizzCon's the place to push PC games. The other thing I want to say, what the hell happened to Warcraft Reforged? Are they gonna make it by
Nah, dude, they just shit the bed. Correct us if we're wrong, chat, but they have to deliver on that by the end of the year, right? And they've gone radio silent on that. It says like at minimum you're gonna get the game by 12/31/2019 because they're like legally obligated to fulfill on that pre-order. Because we pre-ordered last BlizzCon, haven't heard a peep since. So
it's just like, dude, what happened? Like,
very bizarre. Yeah.
On that weird, mobile thing, I think if they decide to go mobile, even partly on BlizzCon, that would have huge impact for next year's BlizzCon. Yeah. And I think they still want to make the money from BlizzCon too, so they have to give something to the hardcore PC audience. I don't think they will entirely. Yeah, I don't see them entirely switching to mobile only. They will probably never do that, but I don't think they will really emphasize mobile because BlizzCon is an event that thrives on PC games. Yeah. And if they decide now to do some announcements like last year with Diablo Immortal, I think that would probably be the last BlizzCon. I don't think many people will keep paying that much money to be on an event which is not even for them, but for some kind of mobile gamers.
Are they developing a new audience? Are we going to go to BlizzCon and there's going to be a good chunk of people that like COD Mobile and like the mobile applications and are really into it? Is that going to be...
I don't know.
This is my first BlizzCon, so I'm excited to go report back on that, right? I talk it to, for the record too, I talk to nobody at Blizzard. I'm not sponsored by Blizzard. They've never really made an effort to communicate with me, so I'm going in here completely going to bat for all of you guys in the chat and just see what's up and try and report back and see how it is, if it's...
Man of the people.
I just want to ask you, do you really think there is an audience which is going to big events, which is a mobile gaming audience? I don't know anyone like that. Is there really a gaming mobile audience, or is it just?
I feel like most people just play like. Here's the thing: like if anyone in there, I mean, like when I'm home, let me try to restate this because I feel like the only time you play on fucking mobile games is when you're on the toilet or you're like at work or whatever, right? You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my god, this new mobile game's coming out, I'm so psyched.
Do you get
No.
those passionate enthusiasts that are going to be willing to like cosplay and go travel 3,000 miles across the country to go for a mobile game? I don't know. I don't think so, bro.
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I think, like DevCam said, it's the game you play in the toilet or when you're at work and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And they make a lot of money of those games, but there's no real core audience for those games.
Yep.
I don't think.
If you also look at this screen, right, it's just flashing a bunch of different like things of their IP right now, right? If you look at the Hearthstone animations, if you look at the World of Warcraft animations of the new expansion, if you look at Overwatch, it's very much moving towards that very kiddie Disney, like just very highly stylized, cartoony, animated style, right? It almost feels like they're moving towards that Fortnite type styling, mobile, all these things. Like they're kind of they're moving with the trend of like all these battle royale games and Fortnite and what's the other one? Apex Legends and the that Teamfight Tactics. All these things have that kind of like goofy, cartoony style, and that is a very different direction from the original OG dark, macabre, high fantasy I keep talking about, Diablo 2, the original Warcraft. Of course, they always had some stylized elements to it, right? Even World of Warcraft that we play right now is very stylized, and even back in the day, people used to say it looks cartoony, right? But you guys would probably agree, compared to what it is now, it looks dead serious, you know? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it started with Overwatch.
With a big, I don't know if you saw that, Cargos, yeah. With the big biddies.
Oh man, dude. Man, oh man. Sarmonican, thank you so much. 10,000 bitterooskies, dude. I have so many comments from a business perspective on all of this. BlizzCon hype, though. Absolutely. I'd love to pick your brains sometime, Sarmi, about all this stuff. It's a bummer you can't make it out.
The new graphic style really came in with Overwatch, I feel, and it's one of the things I also don't like about Overwatch, by the way. But they try to implement it in their other games too. I think you're right on that. So yeah.
Is that more of a trend that's just like a social thing? Is that what? Because Cargos, you brought this up last week. Like, I would love to see a return to that macabre type, like with Diablo 4 or something like that. With that dark, like how we expect, how Warcraft was, and even like remember the old StarCraft cinematics and shit like that. The just the feel of everything compared to where it is now.
The savagery, the R-rated. If I had to make it corny, it'd be like the difference of like an R-rated movie and like a PG-rated or G-rated like Disney Moana film that's gonna appeal to like 6 years old and up. It's different, man. So I think one key thing to look at is what they do with Diablo. If they take Diablo in a direction that's for the hardcore PC gamers and they make it look unforgiving and savage with that rich fantasy and lore and a hard-hitting cinematic where someone's like spine gets ripped out by like some demon and like they're like, look, PC gamers, we haven't thought about you, we haven't forgot about you, we have this, we have something coming for you guys, we haven't but if they don't do that and they just continue down the mobile path and it goes that direction where there is no announcement of some new IP, or Diablo 4 isn't like that, and the most we get is like a Diablo 2 remastered, they're going to lose a lot of people. Maybe even myself, dude. I may not even buy the new expansion for WoW. And if you take a look behind me, I've bought every single expansion up until this point. I don't know.
Why do you think they do that? What's the main reason behind those new graphic styles?
I think that is they're appealing to the masses audience. So to kids, the younger kids is huge for sure. Also, I do think if you probably look at the data and you look at the direction of esports and gaming, and you look at these Newzoo reports and all these big companies that compile all these industry reports, all the money is coming from mobile. And the sheer amount of mobile devices is staggering now, right? And it's so accessible to play games and just download one real quick and play it. There's better monetization on the mobile front. But with that said, man, PCs have stuck around, and there's definitely still people that are into hardcore PC gaming.
I don't know, do I dare say this? I don't want to go into the Hong Kong thing and all that stuff, but do those graphics appeal more to the Chinese market, you think?
They might.
Possible.
Yeah, they might. I know that they're very sensitive to how stuff is displayed over in China for sure. Remember, like the undead couldn't have bones showing and stuff, right? And again, we all like told each other we're not going to get into the specific political points, but like that's also a big thing to keep in mind to see what happens with that, because all of you are probably aware of all that crazy political shit.
That's a good point, dude, and I never really thought about that, because I think that goes with anything nowadays. Like anything is trying to appeal to more of a broader, and when I say broader, I don't just mean China. I mean like just broader in the sense of, well, including China, the whole Eastern market, because you obviously do have a lot of people in those worlds now, in those countries, having access to gaming where they didn't, things like in India who are getting internet now, and maybe trying to appeal more to just a wider audience. Maybe that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I think you gotta really stick with and which is really good to see. That's a good thing that we saw Classic and things like that. But I honestly, and that's what I was going to say before, I think the best thing that could come out of this BlizzCon for me personally, other than hearing more about Classic, whatever, would be a Diablo 2 remaster or a Diablo 4 that is back to the old style of Diablo. Not like
Diablo 2 remaster would be sick, don't get me wrong, but look what they did with the Warcraft 3 remaster. It's honestly like a dumpster fire.
Right.
Like once it comes out, there's some passionate people who are going to play it, but they just totally forgot about it. So much in the same vein of last year they announced Warcraft 3 remaster. Some people were hyped. It was probably the biggest, most hyped takeaway for me out of the entire BlizzCon. And then we heard nothing for a whole year, and we still don't have it a year later. If they announce a Diablo 2 remaster, people are going to be thinking the same thing. What, am I just not going to hear anything about this for an entire year? Like, it seems like that would be the cop-out attempt to appeal to the OG.
I feel like Diablo 2 was such a big game for so many people. Nothing against Warcraft 3, right? I love Warcraft 3, but Diablo 2 was definitely more of one of those games that really became one of the biggest moments for gaming for me. Like Diablo 2 was huge for me, and I feel like a lot of people also feel like that. And I feel like Diablo 2 would be very, very hard to if they were to stylize Diablo 2 in a Diablo 3 style, that would be horrible.
Imagine
right?
Diablo 4, they announce it, and it looks like friggin' Overwatch graphics, dude. Just imagine how...
Oh, no. I can't.
No way, right? I mean, Diablo 3 was a little bit more stylized than Diablo 2 in the same way.
I think
like
Diablo 3 was very cartoony.
Yeah, me too. I liked it, too. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Diablo 3. I played the shit out of it. Even you didn't like it?
Well, yeah. It was a good game.
Go on. Or, well, someone in chat just said something I kind of wanted to say something about. So he said, we're in a PC bubble when you look at actual numbers to assume there's no core audience for mobile. I didn't say there's no core... Well, actually, I said there's no real mobile audience as there is a PC audience. What I meant is I think there is a mobile audience, as in very casual people who play mobile every now and then and spend money on it, but that's something entirely different than the PC audience.
I feel like I'm sure there are people out there who focus a lot on mobile, but the kind of passion that you get with like a PC audience, the kind of just all out, like friggin' going crazy, I don't see that with mobile. Maybe it's just because we're in that bubble, I don't know, but
it's a much more casual audience. It's a wider audience. It's a more monetizable audience. And here's the tricky thing, right? And this happens with some of my favorite IPs. One's in the chat. If you missed the days when you could like unironically like Halo and take pride and be like, yo, I'm a Halo fan. I love the lore. I've read all the books. Like Halo is my shit, dude. I know all the character names. Now, like it's just this watered down kind of dilapidated mess. Some of this might make the same case for Star Wars, but what I'm saying too is Def Camp. This is like the problem with potentially being a publicly traded gaming company like Activision Blizzard, because you have this obligation to stakeholders to like make the most money possible, right? So you can pay them out and increase value of the company and do all that. But that comes at the cost of potentially inspired content, and you just start making games because you need to make games, and you start making data-driven decisions as opposed to decisions from the heart or from the gut or sticking to your guns, right? You have this churn of leadership coming in and out, and I don't know if a lot of these executives play the games and know the culture and stuff like that, right? But would you rather have one or 100 people that fuck with you hard, that really love your games, they love the content you make, they are awe-inspired by your games, they're flabbergasted by how rich and how much time and energy went into your games? Or would you rather have 1 million people that like your game, like they kind of like your game, and they'll spend money on your game, but they don't really like your game that much?
Yeah, and like the thing that a lot of people probably forget is like, the three of us here, and Meldron I know included as well, like we want Blizzard to succeed. Like we love the games that they created, and I don't think anyone here wants to see Blizzard go down that road or continue to go down the road they've been going down. We really want to see them do what they've done in the past, in the earlier days. And when you look at what makes money, and the route that things are going, like you said, is it possible for Blizzard to make the kind of money that they will be happy with and still be that company that we want them to be? I don't know.
I don't think so, dude. I think I honestly, like, if I was a betting man, I would bet they just continue down this rabbit hole of mobile appealing to Chinese markets, and they make data-driven decisions, and we see what happens with that. I don't even know. Maybe they'll be successful, but at the same time,
they might not, but they probably won't be Blizzard anymore.
They won't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They won't. So sorry, dude, I'm talking too much, man.
No, I was thinking, if you see what they actually accomplished with like things like BlizzCon, it's really unique in the gaming world. Having those events of your company alone, and they couldn't have never accomplished it if they didn't gain the trust of the audience and made some really good games. But
was the roots of BlizzCon from World of Warcraft? Was it from vanilla? Was it?
It was from World of Warcraft, I think. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That was the first BlizzCon.
Because people got so immersed and so impressed and so just awe-inspired by this rich world, and they spared no expense and put so much detail into the game, so much love and energy went into the game, that they just they formed this devout following, and that's the foundations of it. Killrot says something really good in chat too. He says Diablo 2 style was gory, dark, gothic, and tough. Everything wasn't super easy, and you can die to just about any mob if you weren't paying attention. Some could say the same case with World of Warcraft Classic. It's the type of thing that when you make games that are unforgiving in nature, you're going to frustrate the casual gamer. They're going to die, and they're going to move on, and they're going to go play Candy Crush or Fruit Ninja or whatever they play, right? But if you play a game where it doesn't give a fuck about your success, and it feels like the game is that's what gets you, though, dude. That's people want to be able to take pride in the games that they play, that like it takes skill. So if you're good at these games, you can hold your head high and be like, look, I'm good at a game that takes skill, or I'm good at a game or knowledgeable about a game that has a dark, rich, cohesive lore and universe. So that if I can take pride in being very knowledgeable about this universe and all the characters and stories within it, if the universe is a soup sandwich and they keep fucking it up and they keep going back and forth and they keep going time traveling, time working, adding Volpera into the game, I'm starting to feel like I can't take pride in this universe. If I'm explaining it to someone, hey, look, I like World of Warcraft. Like, look at this universe, man. There's these little furry foxes running around, and then there's, these, I don't know. You see the point I'm getting with? Like,
oh no, I do.
To get like a hardcore following that loves your game and loves your IP, the universe has to be respected. The difficulty has to be respected.
So that's Mike Morheim said, I think, 2 BlizzCons ago, that the audience on BlizzCon, seeing everyone cheer for the games they made, that was the reason he actually started making games, seeing how big it became and how loved they were. So they really need to think, do we want to do it for the people who like our games, or do we want to go the route and go for the most money? So I think there's a shift in the leading, and they need to decide which route they go. And we will see. Yeah,
I really like to look at the games through like an artistic eye, right? So you look at Diablo 1, for example, Diablo 2, Classic WoW, Burning Crusade, and you look at it through like an artistic eye. You look at the music, you look at the scenery, you look at the ambiance, you look at the feel of the game, and it's a much more of a gothic type, much more of like a heavy metal, like feel to it. And I feel like retail's like pop, and you know what I mean? It's more appealing to the masses, but you lose something so dramatic about it. You lose something that's so precise and just what makes it true to what it is. It loses its soul. You know what I mean? It really does. And that's what happens. You go from this heavy metal, like this is just the symbolic, I'm trying to this heavy metal type feel of this dark, passionate, amazing lore, to this, everyone's happy, let's make it pop, let's make it for everyone, let's make it for this, let's that. Yeah, it's going to appeal to more people, but it loses something.
It loses it 100%. If I was ever in a position, I don't think I ever will be, but if I was ever in the fortunate or unfortunate, however you want to say it, position of controlling like an IP, a universe that people love and care for so much, I swear on my life, I would never do anything to jeopardize the cohesiveness of it. I would stop making games. I would stop future games. I would stop any future content until the world was still, preserved. The integrity of the world is preserved, right? And all too often you see these new IPs, these beloved IPs that we grow up and that we invest in, because you invest in these things emotionally. You spend time. You only have one life on Earth. You spend your precious time playing this game, getting invested, building friends with it. And if you water it down and you move in a bunch of weird directions and it's no longer cohesive, like it's a tragedy, dude. It's a tragedy.
That's beautifully said, man. That's really that's it. What you just said.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you know, I hear all these people make these arguments. Oh well, to do, and it has this and it has that, but it lost its soul. It really did. Like, you know, and I recently watched this video about this guy talking about, you know, why people play classic and why people play retail and all the different things. And but I felt like he missed the core of like what people really love these old games for. It's not just the nostalgia. It's not just the feel. It's not just the gameplay. There's something there at its core that allows the player to really immerse themselves into the game and really feel proud of the game that they play. You know, like I was proud of being a fucking WoW player. Like I thought it was cool. I thought it was badass. Same thing when you look at Halo back in the day. Same thing when you look at Star Wars, like Knights of the Old Republic, and all these amazing games back in the day. Like you had this, you know, almost pride when it came to playing this game, and now it lost something over the years, and it really feels like, to me, you know, I have to make sure when I tell someone I play WoW, oh, it's not retail, it's classic WoW. It's it's not what you see, you know, like it's like almost ashamed to talk about it. And there's something more to just the gameplay than just this, that, and it comes to the immersiveness. It comes to the pride that you have behind it. And I don't know, man. It's like there's something deeper there, and I really feel like it's gotten so diluted over the years.
So Boomkin Bob in chat said the company's job is to make money. We're all in the world to make our living. They need to make theirs. Well, actually, I kind of disagree with that point. There is a way of making a living for your own and be happy with what you do and be, like
Absolutely.
you said, proud on what you do. But you can also go that step further and make the most money that you can, and
you can be a sellout, or you can be
exactly.
It's true.
Exactly.
You got to find that balance. Everyone's got to make money.
Yeah,
Everybody's
exactly.
got to put bread on the plate, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to put food on the plate. But you'd always keep your, you know, people should take pride in like their legacy, like their art that they made, their art form, right? The integrity of their art should come before the money, right? All day, every day.
Metallica, right?
And they can perfectly make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeping the integrity.
Like, look at
of their
Metallica,
art.
for instance, right? Okay, I'm just going to use an example. Metallica band, you know, back in the day was known for being heavy metal. You know, their first 3 albums were very, you know, metal, and then they pretty much sold out, appealed to the masses. Yeah, they made a lot more money, but they lost a lot of respect to those hardcore listeners who loved them for what they were, you know, and it's like that with any art form, and games are no different. You know, and is that something that happens to most companies over the years? I don't know. It doesn't happen. I think you can still stick by your morals.
Speaking of morals,
to other companies too, by the way. But yeah, go on.
Okay, I have a point, and I don't want to even put an opinion in your mind. I implore all of you watching this right now. There's not many of you. It's a couple hundred of you in this massive world we live in. But when BlizzCon rolls around, take a deep breath as they're starting to relay the information to you when they're up on the stage. Take a deep breath. Focus for a second. Try and read between the lines. And tell me in a couple weeks if you feel like they're authentically human to human trying to convey information to you. If you feel they're like in a wholesome, authentic, honest way trying to communicate with you. Because here's my thing with Blizzard. And this is something that I've only realized kind of recently, because maybe I haven't been, you know, a content creator for long or whatever. But they kind of have a lot of pride when they relay information to you. Like, whether it's the CMs, whether they're up on stage and they're like, you think you do, but you don't. Like, they have like this bizarre sense of pride. That is, it's strange to me. It's strange to me. Like, maybe I wasn't. Maybe it's always been this way. Maybe it's not always. I don't even know, man. People, all I'm saying, I don't want to influence your opinions, but report back because I could be wrong, and tell me if you feel like Blizzard is like just trying to talk to you person to person and convey to you transparently, with transparency, like, hey, look, this is the current state of the game, man. This is what's going on, right? I always feel like there's some. I always feel like there's some stuff unsaid or something, man. I don't know.
I'll say this. I'll say this. There are people there who do care. I know that for a fact. There are people there at Blizzard, mostly the classic WoW dev team, who you saw in the interviews back last year I know for a fact that there are still people there that care. The fact is, though, for the majority, I don't think there is. Not saying that they don't care. I'm saying that. Okay, and this is hard to put into words, but there are people there that I think are pressured by their higher ups, and they have to do this, they have to do that. There are people there who want Blizzard to be what it was, but I think as a whole, they really have a image. They have a problem with their image. They don't know what they want to be, and I think that comes from the top. That's an issue at the top that has to be.
Yeah. It's a big company too. Like, trust me, there's probably a large amount of people at Blizzard that do care. Their heart's in the right place, whatever it might be, right? I can't be so foolish to say it's Blizzard as a whole. But if I'm feeling this way, I know a few other gamers, a few other sweaty neckbeards out there are feeling the same way. Because you look to the forums, you look to the announcements, and you're just trying to get excited and go to bat for Blizzard. And I don't know. I think they need to communicate more, man. Communicate more. So if this isn't the case, just communicate more and just start posting in a really transparent way, what the deal is.
And it's hard, right? Because these people are developing a game. They are artists. They're putting their blood, sweat, and tears in it. But a lot of it, like I said, it'll come from the top. They will have their their so-called. So imagine you're an artist, right? And they say, okay, you only can work with 4 colors. What the fuck, dude? Why can't I work with the whole fucking rainbow over here? You know what I mean? That'll make me so much better at what I do. But no, you can only work with these 4 colors. That's all you have. That's all you can do. They're basically, that's what they're doing to them. I feel like in a lot of ways, they're have these amazing people, these people that are passionate. They have the wrong mindset about it and how they're going about it. Right? That's what I feel like when it comes to a lot of what goes on there. Yeah.
So yeah, there are definitely still a few of those very motivated and real gamer developers out there in Blizzard, I think.
Absolutely.
I hope there are a few of those in the vanilla team, but one of my favorites is in the Overwatch team, but I keep forgetting his name, even though he's one of my favorites. Do you know which guy I'm talking about, or? Used to be I think he joined in the end of vanilla, and then at the launch of vanilla basically, and then after a few expansions he went to the Overwatch team. Jeff Kaplan, that is.
Kaplan?
Yeah. If you see those people talking about any game, basically, you see that they talk about that game with the heart of a gamer and passion and how they want the game to feel and play, and that's entirely different than those you think you do.
Exactly. And what Bushido said there, though, does have some definitely does have some sense to it. So he says, not defending Blizzard here, but it is also public's fault. We ask for things we don't fully understand. We ask for an easier way to get dungeons, so introduce LFR. Absolutely. I mean, down the line, I think a lot of what went wrong with Blizzard, with WoW, and maybe Blizzard. It's not all on Blizzard. It's the fact that a lot of people ask for certain things, but that goes to say where a lot of the times we can influence a game negatively, and did it with WoW. I mean, not saying we all of us, but you better damn sure believe that a lot of the things that were put in the game were put there because the public was asking for it. But I think the developers have to make a stand and say, no, this is our game. This is how we intended it to be. And they need to stick by that. But when you're trying to make everyone happy and you're trying to, it's a very hard place to be in, and it's very hard to make judgments on that and not fully understand the position that they're in.
You can't cater to everybody too, man. You can't, like, there's going to be the people that are younger and that want this kind of style, and there's going to be people that are hardcore PC gamers that like the old style. You just have to...
So I can give an example of something that I think a real gamer would put into the game in vanilla. I just did that Onyxia chain, the one for the Onyxia chain. The one but last part is where you need to go to Winterspring. You know that quest.
For the alliance, right?
Yeah. Basically the quest just says find someone in the world who can do something with this item. And I was thinking, what if we didn't have Topbot and we didn't have all those websites? That's a pretty cool quest, actually. It's just go out in the world, explore, and if you then actually come to that place, it's really well hidden. And those kind of secret things I really like in the game, and that's something they will never ever put again in retail WoW, but just no one will find it. And basically the quest guide just gets you there. Those kind of things are really missing in the new game, and that's something like Jeff Kaplan, I imagine, would have put into the game.
Yes, and you know what? One thing I've learned from watching where other gaming companies have, and I'm sure Blizzard probably tried to do this too, but you have to have a set of principles when making a game, right? You have to have a set of principles and say, these are things we will never do. These are things we will never... We will always abide by almost like a doctrine, almost like a declaration. Like, you have to have a set of principles of which you adhere to, and you will not allow yourself to go back on that. And I feel like a good game, even faced with majority amount of people telling you that, we want this, you have to at a point say no.
I have an analogy or something. All right, so imagine you're starting a raid, right, Def Camp, and you say it's a hardcore raid. All right, hardcore raid, we're going to be raiding at this set schedule, this time every week, and you recruit a bunch of people to raid in this hardcore guild, in this hardcore raid, right? And then down the line, you find out, hey, the guild bank could get way more gold if we make it a casual raid, and we make more casual raids, and we just get more people from the server to join the guild, and we have more casual raids, right? Like, the people who signed up for the hardcore raid are going to be like, we're in a casual raid now? Like, I don't know. My point is that it almost like their initial fan base was this kind of hardcore PC gaming audience, and now they're moving away from that hardcore PC gaming audience, and people feel that could be, part of why people are feeling the way they're feeling.
Absolutely.
So my question to you is, what would you want to see out of BlizzCon? What would be like a best case scenario for you to see?
You go ahead, dude, Dane. I gotta think about that.
What would be the best case scenario? I want to see a new WoW expansion which goes back to the vanilla style of games. I doubt it will happen, but it's a possibility. I really want to play World of Warcraft like vanilla, but in a really new version of it. So that would be awesome. That would be the absolute best thing. What would I like to? I think I would like to have a Warcraft 4, actually. That's something many people seem to have forgotten, or did Blizzard come out and say they will not do it? I don't know. I've never seen the past few news posts or YouTube updates. I didn't see anything about Warcraft 4. So that would be cool. Other than that, I never really liked Overwatch, so I don't care. StarCraft is fun, but I'm not going to play StarCraft anymore, I think. So I don't really care about that either. Hearthstone, I don't think how far they can go with that. It's just a new expansion, I guess. So that's nothing new. But something I would like to see, maybe, it depends what it is an entire new IP too. I just want to see a lot of new stuff. Yeah. Honestly, I really love Blizzard games most of the time, the old ones especially. I like the battle nets with the friend list and all that stuff. So it's a nice environment to be in, right? So I really want them to do well, and I really want to have some fun games to play. But I will mainly focus on the Warcraft franchise, I guess. So if the new IP is anything like Overwatch, I will not play it. Yeah. It's more like Warcraft. That would be nice.
A new IP would be sick. I don't know what genre it would fall in for me, but something on that special like unknown coming soon slot on the schedule. Some new IP would be crazy. Diablo 4 set in that old school dark high fantasy direction, because that would honestly change a lot, man. It would make the company go, okay, they're still acknowledging this portion of their audience, man. The hardcore PC gamers are getting something to look forward to, and then at that point they can kind of have their cake and eat it too. They can make these games for the mobile, more casual audience, all that, and then they still have, you know, something for their diehards from their OGs, right? And then the other thing, I would like to have a little transparency from Blizzard side to see how Classic WoW is doing comparatively to BFA. I don't think they're going to announce it because it's probably disadvantageous for them to do that, because maybe it's a bad look to shareholders and stuff, like to know. But, you know, that would shut me up, man. I'll tell you that. Like, if for some reason they were to be transparent with the amount of people playing Classic versus BFA, and it turns out 70% of people are playing BFA, 30% are playing Classic, that would actually kind of shut me up a little bit, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit here, and the majority of people are having fun playing BFA with their Volperas and all this.
I don't think it's that at all.
That's fine, but
I don't think so either. But it would be nice to see those numbers.
Yeah.
Indeed, I agree. By the way, I saw something in chat I really like. What would I like from BlizzCon? We're splitting from Activision. That would be cool. Yeah.
So let me go ahead and put my there, and this is obviously not based in reality, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So I 100%, first of all, would like to see something about where Classic WoW is going to go. You know, I want to see if they're thinking about Burning Crusade. Are they thinking, you know, at least start the conversation up. Talk more about, you know, I want to hear things about, you know, where they're planning on going, and just, you know, just talk about Classic WoW. I would love to hear more stuff about that. Maybe do like a little demo for Battlegrounds, and I don't know, have something there for someone to play and mess around with. But like you guys said, I would really love to see a new IP as well. And if it were to be an MMO, in maybe a whole different world, maybe a world of StarCraft, a world of Diablo, something really dark, something fucking awesome. I think that would be really, really cool. I'd love to see a Diablo 4, just like you said, like you're talking about here, like a Dark Soul-esque, you know, Diablo 4, really dark, really gory, but Diablo, you know what I mean? Diablo has great story. It has amazing characters. Diablo, I recently replayed Diablo 1, and the fucking music in that game, the feel, the being surrounded by darkness, and actually being scared of playing a video game, but also not one of those games that just, you know, like jump scare you. It's an amazing experience. It's a journey. A game like that, you know, a game that in its own is original though, and it's not just a copy of Dark Souls. It's not just a copy of whatever. It's Diablo, and I think having a Diablo 2 remastered with basically just enhancing the graphics to a point where they're not cartoony, they're not like Diablo 3, they are still Diablo 2 graphics, just enhanced. I think that would be fucking awesome. Not to mention, I would love to see like just something, you know, in terms of, you know, the future of where World Classic is going, like I said, with PC. For a new WoW expansion, honestly, for me, I don't think I'm going to play it, so I'm not going to put my hopes and dreams out there for a new WoW expansion. I don't think it's possible to save World of Warcraft retail. I think it's already kind of had its time, and I think a new IP would be the way to go. Maybe something like, you know, like a World of Diablo or a World of StarCraft, I think would be really
What about
cool.
A new World of Warcraft instead of Diablo or StarCraft?
I'd love that someday.
World
man.
of Warcraft.
Here's the thing. Someone help me out in chat on how to describe this. So I was out in London doing this Red Bull event, right? And I got to meet some people that were very passionate about the retail form of the game. But they weren't into it for the old, like the RPG reasons of it, or some of the same reasons people are into Classic WoW. They were into it because of the mythic raiding scene, which apparently, like, you know, has a lot of complexity and finesse to it, and mechanical finesse, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why they liked it. It makes sense to me. Like, okay, that makes sense to me, right?
It's challenging.
And then the PvPers in the retail side of the game can still be pretty serviceable for them, right? Like, they have this high-end competitive meta and stuff. They're not into it for the same reasons you would be into Classic. You know, those are still very much like viable reasons to like and, you know, like the game. So I struggle with this, man. I struggle with struggle with talking about retail sometimes because I think about these people who are gamers just like us and they are out there playing those games. But I don't know, man, the overall feel and cohesiveness of that world is just so scuffed, dude.
Well, that's what kept me playing Legion as long as I did. I was in a Mythic raiding guild. We were pushing high-level Mythic dungeon keys. And it was, it pushed a level of gaming that I never really had before. I mean, like, I raided in TBC, that was challenging. And like doing the Eye back in the day, and Black Temple, and like some of those dungeons, those raids were much more challenging than vanilla WoW, right? But then you have a whole different aspect of doing something like, Mythic Gul'dan, where we had over 100 wipes. And it's this whole new, it's like a dance, almost like a battle. Like everyone has to do their thing perfectly, and it is challenging. And especially as a healer, I feel like in really high level Mythic Plus, I feel like the healers have the hardest job. I don't know, maybe that's because I was healing, but I feel like it is and it can be challenging. However, the rapidity and the just the pure like boringness of everything else in the game, other than that, just totally drove me away. There is nothing else to do, and even with that, like, you do a mythic dungeon and then all of a sudden you see somebody run in a piece of normal gear that's Titan forged, that's higher item level than your mythic gear. Like, that doesn't make sense, dude. You know what I mean?
I think what I want out of
That's the kind
BlizzCon,
of
man,
stuff that pushed me out.
it's just validation of our community within the broader community, man. Right now, you look at the schedule, you look at everything, and there's not much to validate our like existence as a classic WoW community there at BlizzCon. You'd want to see something to rally around. Hey, look, something for us, like at BlizzCon. Look at that. That's cool. We got a little slice. Not asking for some big slice, but a little slice. There's WoW Classic in there, right? Bring the devs up on stage for 30 minutes. Let us ask a few questions, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Just that, and then the other thing I want from BlizzCon is just a shift in direction, other than the direction that they're currently on. They're on a certain course. I'd like to see a refreshing sign of life. Oh, a sliver of the OG Blizzard is still there within the company, within the huge company. Because right now, there's this stream. Everything is moving downstream rapidly towards mobile and catering to the Chinese market and making everything kiddie and stylized and cartoony. I'd love to see a deviation off that stream, like to cater that, to cater to the OG audience.
And you know what, Cargos? That really isn't too much to ask for, dude. It's really not. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's too much to ask for.
Yeah.
Just a small panel, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That would be.
Do it on some like tiny stage. Do it in the back. Do it in the basement, dude. Do it in the basement of the convention center. That's all good. I'll go down there.
Whatever. Yeah, like, let us as the classic WoW fans come together and at least be able to fucking talk and share the experience in the game that we love in some form, in some fashion.
So
that's all.
The reason I said WoW 2, by the way, instead of World of Diablo, for example, is those games like Diablo, it's really dark, and that would mean a really dark world without those bright zones. In World of Warcraft, you have a mix of everything, right? So you can basically have a dark zone and a watery zone, an icy zone, whatever, and you have the night.
More fantasy. It's more of like a high fantasy.
Exactly. StarCraft is still kind of decent, I guess, but Diablo would be really dark.
Yeah, StarCraft is very sci-fi. Diablo is very, and WoW is kind of that perfect mix of high fantasy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally get you there, and that's why I think WoW worked so well, because you had such diversity in that game. From Eastern Kingdoms to Kalimdor, from Daenerys to Winterspring, so many different beautiful places and things to do, and yeah, I mean, I think that's why WoW works so well. But again, though, it's I don't know, man. It would just kind of seem like beating a dead horse. For so much of a lack of words, like, we've done WoW, we're doing Classic now. To do another WoW, I don't know. That's
the problem, indeed. We have Classic now, so Now if they announce it, it's at least 2 years from now, right? So we still have 2 years of Classic to play. But they are not going to announce it, so.
Dude, that really might be the thing I want to know the most right now, man. I want to know. No, I want to know what percentage of the subs are playing Classic versus BFA. Like, we could be totally off. There's no way to know without them communicating that to us, man. At least for me, it would be
70-30 right now, dude. Classic.
We're just firing from the hip, though, dude. It would be so illuminating because I look at this slate of content right in front of me. I look at this slate of content on the 1st and the 2nd. And if I were to just look at the slate of content, it looks like it's like 95-5. It looks like 95% of people are playing the retail version because everything. You have all the MDIs going every day, right, at a certain time slot. You got the what is it? This is the WCS finals of StarCraft. Never mind. So we have the MDIs. What else? I guess that's it. This is Hearthstone and StarCraft. But it you know, I don't know. There's no way to tell. I'd love if it like I said before, if it ends up being the thing like Blizzard says, hey guys, here's the breakdown. 80% or 70% of the player base are playing BFA. They're having a good time. They're having a great time. There's no issue. They're loving it. Then you got 30% of the old sweaty boomers playing Classic complaining. I'd be like, all right, fair. Bet Blizzard. All right, like, you know, like, but without knowing, it feels like they're, you know.
Yeah.
Someone asked that at the FAQ, man. They're not going to let me up there, bro. I'll try, though.
Well, if you get to ask the question, just know that you'll probably never be allowed up there again. So,
I don't want to be disrespectful. I just want to ask them, like, hey, could you?
No,
please,
it's not. Yeah,
you know, if there's,
yeah. I mean, like, I do understand the fact that, like, yes, there is less stuff to talk about for Classic, but there's still something to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and but you're absolutely right. I mean, like, I 100% believe that, you know, there is more people playing Classic now than retail. They're just, there has to be. But I don't think they like to look at it that way. They like to just look at it as World of Warcraft subscription, you know?
I mean, speaking of a scuffed poll, it's going to be super biased, but everybody in the chat, please try to clear yourselves of the bias. At the same time, don't overhype BFA. Just try and be very level-headed here. If you had to bet $1 million on it, you know, what do you think the ratio of people actively playing BFA versus Classic is? I'm really curious where this get everyone's temperature here.
50,
yeah.
40, 60. You know, is it 50? Is it 60 Classic, 40 retail? Is it 70
what
retail,
do you think,
30
actually?
Classic?
I think 70-30, bro. I mean,
I was thinking something like 80-20 even.
I think it's about 70-30.
Yeah, maybe. If you look at Twitch, you get an idea.
Yeah, that's true. Twitch has been
that's a very good way to check.
Classic,
What is it? What is Twitch, actually? Does anybody know? I'm not a Twitch power user. Is it, dude, someone's gonna know. This is
So the trouble, the thing is, people like Asmongold stream Classic, of course. So
exactly. It's kind of skewed, yeah.
Yeah.
65-35. Good amount of people saying BFA favored. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, good amount of people in the chat saying that. You know, it could be the case. I actually don't know. That's the thing. Like, how useful and illuminating would that be if Blizzard just took 1 millisecond to just say that? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
But they would. I don't think they would unless BFA was on top.
There's no reason not to say
it looks bad for them. It looks bad for them if Classic has more.
Yeah, but at the same time, just communicate with your audience. You know, communicate with the people that like your content. You know, be like, "What's up, avid, diehard Blizzard enthusiasts that we care for a lot? Like, here's the deal with our current games and services. There's a lot of people playing this, a lot of people playing that. I don't know.
I don't think they would do it. Honestly, it just there's no reason for them to do it. There's no benefit that they would get from it. I don't think. You know.
So, just a random question: do you expect them to announce any mobile release
at BlizzCon?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
No.
Well, COD Mobile's coming out. That's about to come out, and that's 1 second.
What is it? COD Mobile. You said.
But COD is not. It's not a real Blizzard game.
Yeah.
So, but for example, like Diablo, we have like StarCraft mobile app. I don't know.
An app? Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like they would like how they announced, like, oh, you know, Hearthstone's now for fucking mobile, like something like how small that would be. But as long as they don't, as long as it's not an exclusive phone game. You know what I mean? I think that would just be a shot in the foot. If they announced something like, "Oh, by the way, guys, here's a new app for World of Warcraft for your phone," like that. But I don't think they would announce that at BlizzCon. I mean, maybe, who knows? I don't know. I think they're going to shy away from mobile as much as they can this year, honestly.
I think so.
Yeah.
But would be interesting.
Mobile pet battles? Yeah, they apparently were working on that, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you actually still play any other game right now than Classic from Blizzard?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Have you been playing any other game right now? Has anyone here, like, I feel like right now, like, I'm gonna be missing out on so many good games right now because, like, well, if there are any good games, I don't know. I'm literally probably gonna be playing Classic for the next couple of years, like.
Yeah.
And like it sucks because like whenever this happens, I always feel like a good game will come out and then I'm like I have no interest in it, right? I really wanted to try the new Red Dead Redemption game. I wanted to try that, but like I don't have time for that shit, man. I'm a classic WoW player. Like
there's one game I want to play which I don't have time for, and that's FIFA.
Oh yeah.
20 because our Belgian player. Eden Hazard is on
still gotta finish The Witcher 3, dude. Like,
dude, you said Witcher 3. I'm just thinking about this in my mind. I'm not super knowledgeable about lots of games. I don't play a ton of games, like, but The Witcher, out of all the IPs of recent memory, you can take that IP seriously. Like, now they have a Netflix special, so maybe this is where the downward spiral begins. We'll see what happens with it. It looked actually okay to me, the trailer. I don't know. Some of the Witcher people were very upset by the trailer. I'm not sure, but
But in all honesty, I don't really need.
Sorry,
I don't really need another game than WoW, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either. It's just that sometimes it's refreshing. It can be, but yeah, I don't need another game either. Honestly, I feel like for me, WoW just does it in every sense of
Same.
It really gives me that satisfaction. And
that's where all my friends are at, dude. All my friends are playing the game. You're gonna stay with your friends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know. Here's another thing that I would want Blizzard to know. I mean, to share. Like, someone's saying November 7th is the investor call. You know how every investor call, some of the Classic people are in there, like, trying to read between the lines and try and tinfoil hat. Like, maybe they're talking about Classic with this little half-sentence thing that the dude just said. Like, it would just be cool if Blizzard would just level with us. Like, so if they're not going to communicate about Classic or whatever, just explain why. Like, you know, just have a little... Just turn on the webcam, do it. How you know... Maybe they can't. Maybe there's too much political... you know, aspects about it, but what if they just threw on the Blizzard Twitch stream and they're like, "What's up, guys? Blizzard here. Just gonna shed some light. Here. Just gonna shed some light on, you know, why we don't address everything about Classic. Just let you guys know you are a very small portion of our overall audience. Not, you know, don't mean that disrespectfully, but like, you know, just I don't know, anything, man, anything. Because like again, I just fire from the hip here, and I don't know.
What do you think, Melderon?
To contact Melderon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think, Melderon?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point, Melderon. Yeah, that's a good point. No, but I at the end of the day, man, like I said, I just want to go back to the whole play. I'm excited. The thing that excites me about BlizzCon is the community, to meet up with the people that I've fucking met through this game, meet up with the people that I play with, my actual friends. So, you know what? Thanks to Blizzard for making that possible, to the fact that I can actually go and meet up with people that I met through an online game.
100%.
You know, if that's what I have to look at the positive of it, that's what I'll do. There's always positive to draw from it.
It's the 15-year-old version of their game, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and man, Classic has exceeded my expectations personally. I mean, you can hate on it all you want, but I'm having so much fun. I really have. It's just.
And what about the layering, dude? Skyrim, like layering's gone already.
Layering is
down
gone
to one
already.
layer now, man.
It's gone on your
layer here. Yeah, we're done.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
No more
layering. It's not gone on ours. We still have layers and we have queues. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I heard there was a queue the other night. But yeah, we're down to one layer, and Orgrimmar was so packed the other night that it was like destroying the server. But hey, it's
I think last few nights we had a queue of an hour. Something like that with the layer, so wow. I'm really I don't know how they are going to solve it, but they will have to solve it before phase 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a interesting time next week. That's for sure.
I really hope it's gonna be a spectacular BlizzCon, exceeding all our expectations, and everyone
I hope so too.
is happy after it. That would be the best case scenario.
It's going to be fun regardless, dude. We get to link up with a lot of the people from the people we've gotten to know over the last year plus. You know, I've known Def Camp Meld right now for probably a year and a half.
Almost 2.
So,
yeah,
that's going to be sweet, man.
I'm not sure if you want to talk about this Def Camp, but you plan on playing on the EU server, right?
Yes, yeah. So, some of you guys know that Melder and I do Super Plate Brothers. We're planning on reintroducing that over on Dune Dane's server, and I'm really looking forward to that. So once we come back from BlizzCon, we're gonna set all that up. Yeah.
So I was thinking I could make a character level with you guys, and then feature in
dude.
some of the dungeons or whatever.
Absolutely, dude. Hell yeah. That's that's part of the plan. We would love to get like a whole dungeon group down there, So that would be great. Yeah.
High level of Paladin. That sounds good.
Oh, that sounds good.
That would be dope if you join 2 cargos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I might even name him my old original Pally name, dude, and just recreate him for the memes, for the lulz. Sharper Edge returns.
Sharper Edge.
Sharper Edge, the 60
That was your
dwarf
name,
paladin.
dude?
It was my Xbox Live gamer tag, bro. It was like
Sharper Edge. What did you get that off a pack of razors or something?
No, bro. In Xbox Live, they would generate you a random name. Basically, it was an adjective and then a noun. And I rolled Sharper Edge, and I kind of fucked with it. I was like, ooh, Sharper Edge. I'm the sharpest edge. No, but I just rolled with it. That was my, I want to be consistent with the brand. So that was my original Xbox Live gamer tag, and then it ended up being my first 60 on WoW.
Oh, man. My
Sharper
original name
image
got
wall.
banned, and my name after that was Flagged Name.
Was what?
Flagged Name. FLAGGEDNAME was my name.
That's funny, bro. Stolen already, mate? GG, damn, someone sniped
There
it.
you go. There you go.
I was just kidding, guys. I have the name that wasn't.
I have it in a name. Oh, poor Cargo's just getting his name stolen, man. It's fucked up. Hey, we got ours though. We got him now, so. Sharper Edge, dude. It sounds. Isn't that a name of a TV? Or is that Sharper Image?
Sharper Image is a store that would sell like little
okay.
useless gadgets for like $9 million.
Sharper Edge.
Yeah, man. Maybe we could talk a little bit. What are we missing on BlizzCon, Chad? Help us out with topics. We can also talk about just the meta with Dire Maul being out, rating being out, phase 2 coming.
How was your last week of last week of rating? Shit?
It was good. I didn't spend any DKP. I'm hoarding it so I can get the tier 1 legs, and then I'll have the A piece. So I'm just trying to get that. Mage Blade dropped first this week. No toe-ups.
We had 2 Mage Blades in a row. Yeah.
2 Mage Blades in a row. Damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, how was my rating last week?
Yeah,
I did some BRD. BRD was
okay.
good.
Nice.
No, I ran BRD for like 10 times, and then finally in the last run I got all my biz items at once. So that was pretty special. Yeah. So that was fun, really. I tried to do LBRS at level 55, but that was a little bit low, I think.
What level are you now?
I'm now 57, so but
so you can do Molten Core if you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Nice.
I wanted to join last time, but I didn't, because I would steal a raid spot from someone else, and it didn't feel good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the first raid. Honestly, I think it will be cleared way too fast. Our guild is clearing it in about 2 hours at the moment, so yeah.
That's good. It's a good clear time for FC.
Really good, yeah.
That's good.
Guys,
I saw Sidewinder had a few hiccups this past week. I know Grace was trying to get you guys amped up because we were going head to head Sidewinder versus Black Mamba.
Yeah, he was like trying to push us real quick, and I guess was pushed a little too. The week before we did much better.
Yeah.
And I think people were just not, because we lost all. So I don't know if you heard what happened, but we lost all our buffs. Because I don't know what Grace did, but he said, "Okay, everybody, we're good to go," and got annihilated by the fucking Alliance raid. So that.
Oh no.
We ended up starting like 10-15 minutes late. We wiped on a trash pool because someone pulled dogs and like a giant fucking ended up pulling like 2 dogs and a fucking and then we ended up what's the name? They're trying this new strat where the melee never have to go out because they want to burn them in phase 1. When our strat was completely fine, it was a safe.
For which fight? For which fight?
For Rag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was the one wipe we had last night was Rag.
Dude, we got those Wicker Man buffs though, man. They were actually pretty solid. Like I was looking at the differences in how much I was taking up for with mana, and it was I don't know. It was much faster this week, I have to say, because we have Crystal Water now. We had the Wickerman buffs. We have the Dire Maul buffs. Like it was, we're starting to really speed up. We had a bunch of people.
Yeah, I think next week we're gonna just go back to how we were before. I think it was better that way because I don't know. Like I feel like we do better when we're just chilling. You know what I mean? I feel like when we're rushing, people kind of don't do as good. I feel like we do better just chill, have fun, be kind of like have fun, and we kind of.
So that's something I want to ask you. Would you prefer to be like a min-maxing raid style environment, or do you
Not anymore, dude. I'm too old for that shit. I don't have enough time for that. I don't have enough time for that shit anymore. I mean, like when it comes to MC right now, there's just no point. It's MC. Like what's the point? I don't. I guess there's some people out there who are like obsessed with parsing, and I used to be one of those people. Like I thought, gotta have top fucking percentile parses, and gotta have this and gotta have that. I'm at the point now in my life, dude, where when I play WoW, I want it to be fun. I don't want it to make it. I don't want it to feel like a job.
But my question is though, if you are, does the inefficiency, does it make you not have fun, or can you still have like high levels of fun and still?
I have less fun when we try to push and then fail.
I mean, that's
more
fair.
fun when we're casual and just be ourselves, and that's how I feel.
So that was actually a big point in our guild meeting right before the show, and what I want from the guild, honestly, is just to be that more casual raiding guild where we allow all the types of off-specs. We take a Boonkin, a Shadow Priest, a Paladin, anything, and just have fun. We clear Molten Core in 2 hours, so what's the point in clearing it in 1 hour? Why do we need to be on those parse lists indeed, on the high end of those lists? There is no real reason.
Well, you're building a foundation to go into BWL stronger, though, and go into some of the harder content stronger.
That's true, but we will all be geared to the. Basically, everyone will have every piece of gear that he or she wants.
And the thing is like
Wait, you may not though. Phase 2's coming very soon, and then
you also build a foundation by having trust and by having good communication with people, having a sense of like I hate the feel of you go in there and you got to be like intimidated by the fucking raid leader or people are yelling at you and this and the other like that. I see so many more people leaving to feel pushed out because they feel like they're being left behind. That's what I don't like. I like the sense of everyone feeling happy with each other, everyone going in there knowing what do we expect. Okay, we're gonna have fun this week. First and foremost, we'll have fun. We'll kill bosses. We'll do this, but the core of it is we're gonna spend some time together, have some fucking fun, get some loot, and have a good time. Like that should be, in my eyes, the first and foremost thing when you're going into a raid.
Yeah, so I have a really big question. Maybe it depends on what you guys think about it. So our tank want to go fury tanking, like two-handed tanking or dual wheel tanking on certain fights or all fights if possible, because then you gain more threat, so the DPS can go higher and people don't have to wait DPSing, all that kind of stuff. Now, do you think that is a necessary thing because the meta evolves, or would you rather just have like a tank with the shield and having people wait before they DPS, because that was how it was in the old days?
Here's the thing, dude. Okay, so number one priority for me is clearing all the content in one day, because it's so much impact if you can do that. You can have more fun. Like if you clear all the content in one day, you're not gonna have to buy consumables again. You're not gonna have to have that weighing on your conscience and go out to get all the world buffs and log out. Like that's a huge time sink, right?
You don't need to do that though. That's something that you don't really need to do right now.
You don't need to, sure, but at the same time, at this stage of the game though, DevCamp, since you played the game, many years and stuff like that, you can't deny that some aspect of the fun of it is the competitive spirit, to feel truly engaged with the content and Molten Core and stuff and killing these bosses. There has to be some sort of like player versus player element to it, IMO, which comes in the form of logs in the PvE sense. I'm not super into it comparatively to PvP. Like, I just want to be, competitive, not like the best, but,
Yeah, I guess it is more for DPS because like you look at a healer's point of view, like where half some of the fights I'm doing is like I'm fucking dispelling, like that's my job. Like there's no really oh, you got 2 more dispels than me, bro. Oh shit, man. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like, and then like okay, yeah, I got top heals in this fight, but like yeah, someone else was in charge of tank healing. Of course, they're not gonna get top heals. They're literally in charge of healing one person.
But you can look at over the speed and execution of the raid as a whole. You can see the time at which you clear out MC. That's a total group effort. Everyone pushing together, trying to accomplish the goal and getting it done.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think we go better when we are in a more lax environment. Honestly, like we tried to push harder this week. We did worse than we did last week. And I think you have to look at the kind of people you have in your raid. If they're there. And if they feel like maybe they're being pressured, some people don't do well under pressure. Some people do, I think it's great to try new strats to do new things, but I think we got to make sure, like in my eyes, like we could have pushed doing Ani splits, right? But I wanted to make sure everyone was doing what they knew. 100% knowing what they needed to do and not have any fuck ups before we started doing Ani splits. I didn't want to force it. I didn't want to make it seem like, okay, guys, not everyone's ready. We're going to have one group that's going to succeed, one group that's not going to succeed. I want to make sure everyone's on the same fucking page before we start doing that. Like that's how I feel. To me, it's much more a sense of let's do this together. Let's not leave anyone behind. Let's kind of, and listen, if you have the aspiring goals to be, the top. I mean, you can we still had a 99% parse last night. We still had we had Kigo who did like a 99% parse on one of the.
I heard he got BRE too, dude. That's sick.
Yeah, he did. He got BRE. We had healers like myself. We had 97, 98% parses and shit like that. Like we still parse well, even though I wasn't fucking even checking it. Like people tell us the shit. Like yeah, I don't know. Call me casual, whatever. Like I've been there. On the other side, I've played I've played on the high end of I've done it most of my time in playing WoW.
Just doing your job serviceably well and being, like you don't have to do that much crazy shit to at least be like 85, 90 plus on the parse. Dissect this phrase. Your appearance on Warcraft logs is your resume in game. Is that wrong or right? I'm not saying it is or it isn't.
No, not at all. I think you're who you are in game and like the kind of person you are, the kind of person that helps people, the kind of person that goes out of their way to help someone get gear or help someone get their gear, the kind of person that's going to doesn't need their best in slot but still goes and helps every week everyone. That to me is your WoW profile. That to me is your resume.
But how do you put that into a public a public facing type of?
People know when they see that person in guild who's helping out every week, who's giving gold or giving consumables and helping people out. Like that's where that's where in Classic your name goes, because people see that this is the guy who helps out every week. This is the guy who gives all the mats or gives free enchants and gives this shit. Like that's where you build up your character. And if you can do all that and still do great DPS, add that to the list. Absolutely, you can do what you're told. You can, you don't fuck up. But I don't think being a top damage dealer is more important than any of that shit. I think the other shit is actually more important. The kind of player that you are.
Yeah.
So to come back a little to that Fury Warrior tanking thing, I might say something controversial here, but I think if the game was a new game now and we had that, let's say we were back in 2005 and we had those Fury tanks being the best tanks in a raid environment, I think Blizzard would have stepped in and patched it, because it's not intended.
It's like Fury, like people take this as a misconception. People think that just because you're a Fury tank, you're always going to be dual wielding. Like, no, you should be putting a shield on, like at the beginning of pulls. There's going to be times where you're going to have a shield. You're going to be swapping macros, putting a shield on, using dual wielding. Like, just because you're a Fury dual wield tank doesn't mean that you never have a shield. That's a common misconception. I think people realize over time that you can put out more threat this way, and when people are more geared and this, that, and the other, but like, you're going to be using a shield. You're going to be doing things. You're going to be in defensive stance. Like, I saw someone the other day who literally thought that he was in berserker stance while tanking. Like, he thought that, that's what Fury. Like, no, you're in defensive stance. You do more threat in defensive stance. Like, this is like, people don't understand. Like, and you can still use a shield. Doesn't mean like you're always going to have you're always going to be dual wielding. So I think it's just a logical step to get more threat, especially on a lot of fights where threat is an issue.
But what I'm trying to say is also the protection tree is basically meant to be the tanking tree, right? So if the meta shifts to a place where you don't pick any talents anymore in the tanking tree to be the main tank, then I think Blizzard would have stepped in and patched it. So in a way, it's not intended. So
I don't think it's that straightforward. Where one tree is dead is meant to be it. Like, no matter what, though. You always pick points from different trees. Here's a devil's advocate point, though. So, to keep the game fresh and spicy and interesting, I'm going to say the point that people would make the statement, like, let's say a BFA player or something like this. They say classic content is brain dead. The bosses just fall over. There's not really much progression there. I would first say, like, there is some progression there. There's still going to be a couple weeks as you get, settled in. But the point isn't to clear the content. It's like how fast and efficiently you can do it. And eventually, final form, it's like how little players can you take there and still clear it efficiently when you're doing splits, right? Maybe getting to doing MC splits of 25 people is that final form, because you can make that content challenging. You can make it very challenging with the less people you bring, right? So you can double up, triple up on gear, potentially even probably just double up 25 people.
Well, I think the thing is, Cargos, it's you can't just say it's final form for everyone. Like, it'll be final form for some people. For others, final form will just be doing max with 40 people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's probably going to be my final form, like clearing Nax. That's all I want to get. That's what I want to do. I want to clear Nax. I want to be able to say I cleared Nax, have fucking tier 3, and I'll be happy with that. Like, as time goes on, of course, as people get more geared, we're not going to have to do, this and the other. We'll push ourselves a little bit more. But I feel like for us, at least, it's going to be one of those things where, there's no rush for us. Like, we have plenty of time. But like I think Gray said, it different strokes for different folks. I mean, everyone has their own idea, and that's a great thing about Invictus. We have 3-4 different raid groups with different expectations. Five now, with different expectations, and I think that's great. We can in one guild have all these different drives, right? And that's what I love about it. So it all comes down to the players, and it's really cool that we have different groups that get different things out of the game, and and not to say that you still can't push yourself and have fun. Like, absolutely, there's still times where we're going to do that, but I think it's just doing that at different levels, right?
For sure. Every raid group's different. There's many mentalities. All I'm saying is that a couple months down the line, people want to, and this doesn't even apply to me so much because I'm more of a PvPer. I really want to PvP and rank and do all that. But if I was like a diehard PvEer, and some people really just enjoy the theory crafting and the PvE aspects of and getting stronger progressively and having new goals to strive for, that's a fun way to do it. Like, logs and that whole culture and community offer basically a PvP element to PvE. Those logs and the log culture, they offer a PvP element to PvE and gives them something, even though the content's being cleared, it gives them something to work towards and feel stronger and get better at and all that. So it's just a different stroke for a different set of folks. But, let's say 3 months from now, Def Camping, you're doing Molten Core, how are you going to keep everyone motivated and wanting to do better and better,
Oh, right. And, I mean, like, I think at that point, it'll be, more of a thing is, like, the quicker we do it, the better, and then we'll have other but for right now, it's, I think, especially since I think we start our raid group start a little bit later than most, it's still getting people geared up, still trying to get everyone, like, we have basically all of our priests still need gear. We still have a lot of people who need a lot of gear, so it's more of just taking one thing at a time and then dealing with the changes as they come, not pushing too much into making people feel like they're being left behind or whatever. So yeah, it's all different for everyone, and it doesn't mean, like, not to say, like I said, just because we're doing that doesn't mean we don't have good times on kills or have this and have that and have great parses. Like, we still can do all that at the same time of being a more casual guild. So
exactly what I said actually to my guild members too is, if you want to min max, please do so. Just don't expect everyone to be like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Makes total sense.
So we
you do have a
had
super chat, right?
a super chat, but I don't know if you want to go into that question or not.
What's the story of BlizzCon, the Games of the Protester? Thank you very much for the donation, Spen. I appreciate it. The story of BlizzCon, we kind of talked about that earlier. The summary is that this is a really important BlizzCon, because last year's was kind of disastrous. There's been that political drama going on. People don't know what direction they're going to take their games, if they're going to continue pursuing the Asian audience, the mobile, continue down that road, or if we're going to see them switch gears, and the future of WoW, new retail expansion, all this. There's just a lot on the line here, right? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, bro. I'm excited though either way, man. I'm excited to meet everybody, talk to everybody, and
Just, do you think there will be protesters like overshadowing some parts of the event?
I'm sure.
Probably.
But it's an event. I don't know, man. It's an event where people pay money to come to listen to their favorite game developer. I
thought you meant like outside and stuff, or
outside maybe, yeah. But
it's California, bro. You're gonna have a few protesters
Yeah.
for sure, man.
A few
running
probably,
around,
but I
few
don't
streakers.
really see a whole hall.
Few streakers.
going.
You streakers, dude, with body paint on. It's gonna be a couple of them, dude. We'll see if the BlizzCon Mafia, dude. The BlizzCon, the BlizzCon Secret Service there, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have that, dude. The security at BlizzCon. I wonder what it's gonna be like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
They're sitting there with like a little Blizzard like lapel pin on their suits, and they're wearing like glasses, and like you get out of line and they just yoink you into the back room and like arrest you.
Oh man, yeah. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
All
Do you
right,
think
gentlemen.
we should trend up, maybe?
Yeah, I'm ready to. I'm gonna take a nap before raids. I'm an old man. We only have Ani tonight, so.
Okay. Good
fun,
luck,
yeah.
man. Good luck.
Oh yeah, we'll be good.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so we'll start running a little bit early to this episode, but that's all good. Any final thoughts? Is this the last GMA we're gonna have before? Yeah, right? Or no?
I guess we could do one on Tuesday if we wanted to.
Wait. I have something on Tuesday.
Yeah, something on Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday. We'll see. We'll let you guys know, I
Wednesday's
guess,
possible,
right?
Yeah. Wednesday should be fine.
Will you be available Wednesday, Cargus?
Dude, I'm
We'll talk
available
about that
anytime you
afterwards,
guys are
yeah.
available. I love doing
Okay,
these. So.
all right. So we'll let you guys know, right?
Yep, sounds good. We might have one more.
Yeah.
Might have one more.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes. Keep on the grind. And you want to do any shout outs to Dane?
As the usual one, maybe go to the fellowship.eu if you want to join the guild. That's a Discord link. And other than that, come and say hi on Mokrane PvP server on
There
EU.
you go.
And check out my channel, check out DevCamp's channel. You're on Cargo's channel, so that's good.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Keep liking the videos, keep liking the stream.
Keep on binding and grinding. That's
Exactly.
right, baby.
I appreciate it. Magical Bean, Code Blue. Thank you guys so much for subscribing today. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right, guys. Till next week. Take it easy.